We good?
Yep, it's going.
I'm here at the Mcmenamins UFO Festival. I've got copies of my book here, Time and Space Unlimited, and I'm standing outside of the beer tent where we got the food and stuff for the hotel over here. And all the speakers are very soft core, entry-level speakers, real nuts and bolts people. None of them are going to get to the point. In my opinion, spending money on tickets for this is a complete waste of time. But it is a lot of fun. It seems like a nice festival. But yeah, I'm just reading with this sign saying that time travel is real. We're already colonizing space, and MK Ultra is real and it's still ongoing. I have a book about it. I got kidnapped through the Talented and Gifted program in elementary school in 2nd grade. I was experimented on like a lab rat, and I was sent on missions. Cloning is real. Time travel is real. Portals are real. We already are communicating with extraterrestrials. We are already working with them. We already have colonies on other worlds. The reason why they don't tell you about it is because it's manifest destiny. We are colonizing other worlds with little to no regard of the native species on their world. It is of corporate interest. It is corporations doing it. If you've seen the movie Avatar, that is what it is like. We are pillaging and plundering worlds like Vikings, and that is why the government is not telling you about it. That is why they're lying to people. They are cloning people. They are taking their consciousness, they are sending them into space on missions, and then putting them back through time travel, cloning, and consciousness transfer technology. This is real. This is actually happening. Children are being taken out of schools and experimented on today. It is still ongoing. Gary McKinnon hacked NASA. He hacked NASA, people, and he showed that the government has dossiers, that they have starships that are miles long with personnel on them. And the only reason that the United States government dropped the case is because they knew they would have to talk more about their secret space program. The secret space program is called Solar Warden. If you look up Solar Warden, you will be able to find the classified files that Gary McKinnon hacked NASA for. The United States government says that Gary McKinnon is a dangerous person because he wanted you, the American people, to see the truth about the secret space programs and the colonies on other worlds. You are being lied to about your history, and you are being lied to about your present. Esoteric technologies are being used to enslave people against their will. I know because I've experienced it.
Yeah, me too.
Let me repeat that. Esoteric technologies like time travel, cloning, and consciousness transferal is being used to make people work on other worlds, other colonies, without paying them against their will. This could be happening to any one of you. This is the reality of the secret space programs. This is the reality of the esoteric technology that the elite hide from you. They want to keep you stupid and docile and stuck on this planet, not dreaming of anything bigger. Hello.
Hi.
Any questions?
Yeah. So many, but I don't even know where to start.
Time travel's really over here. You watch the show Stranger Things? It's based on the Montauk Project. They were going to call it the Montauk Project. I am a survivor of the actual Montauk Project.
Is this your book?
Yes, this is my book.
Do you take Venmo?
Yes, I do. It's Venmo. You'll find me on there, Arkeem Ra. My name's Jeffrey Wood.
Okay. Help me out here.
Okay. A-R-K.
A-R-K.
H-E-I-M.
H-E-I-M.
And then I should come up. I don't think there's many people named Arkeem.
Let's try.
Ra.
Is it underscore or
I think it is.
R-A? Let's try dash.
Or just try Arkeem Ra with nothing. Just Arkeem Ra with no space, maybe. I don't have I got a new phone and
How about PayPal?
I do have PayPal.
Apple, anything?
PayPal, that's easier. PayPal at WAF contact. Or paypal.me/arcanerock. Here, I can.
Okay. Faith, do you have cash? How much is your bill?
$20.
Do you have 20 bucks?
No, I've got like $5.
Let me find you.
Yeah, I should have had my should have done with that online stuff. Maybe pay attention. I apologize for that.
If you wanna, because I can just transfer it. She can send it to my Venmo, and I can just transfer it to you,
I'm
sweetie.
also gonna probably right now Yeah, there we go. Let's use your Venmo and my PayPal.
Yeah.
That should be easy.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to just send it to mine, I'll transfer it.
So let's do.
So yeah, I'm standing here. I've got my book. Like I said, we're at a UFO conference. We got like Luis Elizondo speaking at this conference. Just like entry level stuff that's not getting you anywhere. That's just keeping the wheels spinning, keeping people docile, keeping them from seeing the truth. A lot of fun. It's good to see people having a good time.
Thank you so much for your support.
But,
Have a lovely day.
you know, it's no secret space program conference. That's for sure. Here, babe.
I got it.
Time travel is used and it has been weaponized by the military. That is why the Mandela effect exists. The Mandela effect is caused by timeline changes that have been done by the Air Force through Project Phoenix 2, colloquially known as the Montauk Project. The Montauk Project happened out of Camp Hero in Montauk, New York, Long Island. At Montauk, we went back in time and we changed the timeline to make the United States more powerful. We caused genocide. We did war crimes. Unspeakable things happened because of the Montauk Project, and the government doesn't want you to know about it. That is why they're lying to you about space. That is why they're lying to you about time travel, and that is why they're lying to you about UFOs. It's because it's controlled by corporate interests who do not want to be held responsible for their war crimes. So if you're look it up. Time travel is real and has been weaponized by the Air Force for military purposes. It's called Project Phoenix 2. I was used against my will by the United States military as a time soldier in Project Phoenix 2, or what is colloquially known as the Montauk Project. It was the evolution of MK Ultra. My mind was wiped and I was turned into a piece of military equipment. I was treated like an object. I was a slave. This is why the government is lying to you about UFOs and aliens. They do not want you to know about their war crimes. They do not want you to know about the crimes that they commit on other worlds. They do not want you to know. They do not want you to know about the Black Plague that occurred on Mars in the 80s, where we destroyed raptor nests, where we destroyed ant nests, where we destroyed the local population and tried to colonize their world with little to no regard of the local population. This is why the government does not want you to know the truth about time travel, about the colonization of other worlds, and esoteric technologies. It's because they want to use these technologies against you to enslave you and keep you down.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
I'm from a different country. I'm not from the US. So this space travel, is it like the US thing, or it's international kind of experience?
There's Joint Navy Space Fleet. The Joint Navy Space Fleet is basically like the same countries that are part of the European Union along with the United States.
Okay.
The North American Trade Organization countries.
Yeah.
The project that the United States has that it's called Solar Warden. Solar Warden is before the Oort cloud and the asteroid belt. And then beyond that, they call it Radiant Guardian. And these are the people that are controlling space, making sure that certain people don't leave and certain people don't come in.
Is it separate from NASA and from other like private?
NASA is just the cover program that they give the people to show that they're to just basically lie to them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a cover up.
So it's like all the way from the top. From the government.
It's all the way from the top. You want to look into a fellow named Gary McKinnon. Gary McKinnon hacked NASA's computers, and he basically found dossiers basically detailing miles-long starships with, I think, hundreds, maybe thousands, I forget how many, but basically military personnel, miles-long starships with people on them. He found the files by hacking NASA, and he actually was brought, like, he was sued by the United States, and they basically called him terrorists for doing it. All he did was hack, yes, all he did was hack classified information.
You said like I experienced it. What actually did you experience it? I just didn't hear the.
I was taken out of second grade through a program called the Talented and Gifted program. I was tested for basically my abilities, like my IQ, spatial awareness, basically things that would serve them in combat and military planning scenarios. And basically they found that I was useful. And through time displacement technology and cloning, they've been able to use me indefinitely ever since. They have basically my DNA on file. They're able to grab my consciousness from me, and basically at any time these people can take me, send me to other planets, and enslave me and make me do things against my will. And that's why I'm speaking up against this, because I'm tired of being enslaved. I know other people in these programs are tired of being enslaved, and we want Earth, the rest of humanity, to wake up and know the truth about these programs. And the fact that we are already in space. Think about corporations. Think about corporate interests. Think about manifest destiny. Trump, when he got elected, to talk about manifest destiny, we're going to manifest destiny in stars. You know what manifest destiny did in the United States? The Trail of Tears. It's part of our history, where we basically genocided the Native Americans. That's what we're doing on other planets to local populations in the name of military security. Loose lips, sink ships has been abused to the point of no return. Like, there's no going back. Like, we are literally using time travel to win wars. I was literally turned into a super soldier, I swear to God, by Netanyahu. I know Netanyahu. I met him. He called me my weirdest creation. He literally called me that. I remember being sent back and forth in time to kill people. He took my consciousness. He got my consciousness somehow. I woke up in a clone body. They turned me into a cyborg. You know the companies Mcmenamins, they're the companies that have the cameras in Amazon's cars. Okay, they're eventually going to use that technology to put into, like, I had that technology in my mind. They had a facial recognition technology. It told me who the people were, who they were from, their religious affiliations, whether they not be rebels or military combatants. They had different levels, like red was a threat, green was okay, yellow was be wary, be careful around them. But like, I was against my will. Like, they put me. I was like an experiment basically. I remember being on a table. They replaced my skeleton and grafted like a metal skeleton into my body. They replaced, like I said, my eyes with infrared technology, so I could see through walls, and so that I didn't need a sniper rifle to be able to shoot a guy from like a mile away. I could do it with my own vision and a normal gun. Like, this is the kind of stuff that happened to me, and I remember being sent back and forth throughout time to different places to erase certain people from history so that they wouldn't make certain events occur. There's a family called the Vasahara family. I was basically assigned to kill all of them and erase them from history.
But what about the butterfly effect? That you change something in the future?
They have time seers. They have time seers, time oracles, that before you alter something, they look into it and they tell you what could possibly happen. There are also super powerful AI computers that can do the same thing, where they can very accurately predict results. There are people that are like into AI technology, who are experts in the field, who are warning about how the technology can be used. And there's one guy, I can't remember his name, but he talks about how if an AI were super intelligent, it might want to have legs to walk on.
Yeah.
So we try to make deals with humans, with the military. They would say, hey, I have information on these people, listen, I can do this, and that, if you basically give me some freedom, give me legs to walk on, right? And so this thing that people are warning about potentially happening, I as a whistleblower already experienced it. At Montauk, we had an AI like computer there that literally like was working with the Air Force to change the timeline. It had its own goals, and the Air Force had its own goals, and they worked together mutually to make those goals happen. And people always ask me, what was the goal of the U.S. military and the Air Force during the Montauk Project? It was very simple: to make the United States and the Roman Empire, which is actually an extension of the United States, from time to time, basically make this empire that we're in right now, the United States empire, more powerful in the future. Like another example is like in the unaltered timeline, the South actually won for worse. They won the Civil War. And it caused people to not want to deal with the United States because they didn't want to textiles and things like that made by slick. It just weakened us. It weakened our economy, and over time, they made us just not very big players on the global stage. We changed the timeline so that World War II would happen, and then afterwards, we would come up on top because we had no competition. Everybody got bobbed to the rubble. That's why the United States is at the position of power that it's in today. And I can tell you from personal experience, I remember going back in time, being sent in time to eliminate people from the timeline, from history. Like I said earlier, entire families. I remember taking out entire families because they didn't want to risk any of them being alive.
It's like big names or like someone who is trying to run the cover?
Just people that they knew would become a threat in the future.
Everyone.
Anybody that joins the resistance against basically like the empire, basically like they're trying to create like a Anglo-American like white supremacist basically like empire right now with the Trump regime and everything that's happening right now, the World Economic Forum, which is another group of bad players that are kind of butting heads right now. And some people think that these like far-right people are good because they're against the World Economic Forum, but they're not. They're both bad for different reasons. But it's just, yeah, it's a whole mess going on right now. But the number one thing that I want people to understand is like, don't get distracted by the portals, time travel, aliens, all that stuff. It's slavery. They're using this technology to enslave people. Like, you don't have to pay people if you take their consciousness, throw them in their whole body, and give them a human board, and just trap them on a starship. Like, and that's what they're doing. And you know, like, I don't know if you live in past life, but you don't have a past life, right?
Yeah, you do.
It's the same concept as when you are cloned and your consciousness is put in your body. When you wake up in your body, you instantly go to that time space, that reference point, and you're there. So if you wake up in a clone body, you're not necessarily going to remember your other life that you're cloned.
Yeah.
And they used extreme techniques of torture and mind control, basically like I say, the evolution of MK Ultra, to program you like a computer.
Sorry, what's in here?
Mind control. It was a program that in the 80s, there's actually court cases on it because they basically found that the government was basically drugging people, doing experiments on them, and literally openly, not openly, it got leaked.
Yeah.
But they were mind controlling people, slating them, making them like a baby again, and reprogramming them, things like this. And so it actually went to Congress, and Congress shut it down. But all that Congress did was shut down the funding. And I don't know if you know anything about the CIA, but they have all sorts of this. For instance, like the Contras, they funded the Contras in the 80s with cocaine money. Like that's a very well-known fact how the CIA was literally selling drugs to black communities, like ruining them to make their money. Like, and they're getting it from the Contras and they're using it to fund the revolution for the Contras. So like,
Why is it called mind control of the game?
it's a German program. They got it from the Germans. The Nazis were the ones who started it, and they brought the Project Paperclip, it's called. When World War II ended, it's actually, you can look it up on Wikipedia. It's open, fact. What's that? Yes. He was the one who started a lot of the time. Like the Nazis were the ones who really opened up the can of worms when it came to time travel. They're the ones who started using time travel to win the war, and other people basically followed suit.
But why they didn't win that if they had all those time travel?
It's a little more complicated. You're told that they didn't win. They actually, sort of, it's more like we made agreements with each other. It's more like we made a peace agreement.
Yeah, I don't like, but by win, I don't mean like, yeah, you surrender, things like that. No, but by win, I mean like some conditions that favor you more than
They're not where you left it.
You gotta keep in mind too that other people beyond, like the Germans went through the rules of it's Russia has it, China has it, the United States has it, Sweden has it. I'm pretty sure the UK has their own time travel program, and a lot of them know about each other. It's just trying to make like keep the peace, but like they're not saying it. It's a reality. It's a time travel. Have you heard the Mandela effect? Yeah. Have you ever had anything like that happen to you, where you remember the past differently than
sometimes there are like glimpses of that, some like flashbacks, which I don't know what's right.
Yeah, not originally from the timeline. I'm from a timeline where instead of there being airplanes everywhere and cars, there's trains and zeppelins. That's the timeline I'm from. And we actually altered this timeline in the Hindenburg incident. You hear about that?
Yes.
Yeah, the explosion. That made people afraid of airships and that canceled them out of this timeline. But we did it on purpose because we wanted to limit human travel and make it more difficult.
Yep.
Just like that's what 9/11 did. We want to make, well, not me, but like the bad players, the people that are part of us, we want to limit human movement.
Gotta keep people under control and don't expose too much. That's no more than.
Yeah, like on the breakaway colonies, they district the cities really heavily. You have to have special permissions to go to certain places. And,
No, I'm sorry.
well, you're all good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for your interest. Have a good one. Congress just cut the funding to MK Ultra and never actually got shut down. We already have colonies in space. The government's lying to you. Human cloning is already a thing. Time travel is already a thing. Miles-long starships are already a thing. Colonies on other planets are already a thing. And it's all corporate interests that don't want you to know about their war crimes.
Sorry, man, can I ask you a question? Do you have like a podcast?
Yeah, it's called Disclosure Now.
Can you please put it on
YouTube.
Can you please?
You're actually live on my channel right now.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, man. Once again.
Thank you.
If you're interested, hope you learn something. Look into it more.
Yeah.
Time travel technology is used for warfare and the colonization of other worlds. You are being lied to. There are already colonies in space on other planets and moons as well. MK Ultra never actually ended. All it did was evolve and get worse. They started using consciousness transferal technology, cloning.
I'm here to ask you about MK Ultra.
You're not asking.
I don't know.
MK Ultra, that's not a question.
It's that's like
Very likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people think that certain serial killers, terrorists, and things like that were mind controlled to do the events. I think that was some sort of setup. I think that the government will. I think it was a time travel thing. I think that time travel actually was involved in the John F. Kennedy stuff. You want to do things like get rid of the Federal Reserve, the IRS, and things like that. Yeah, and the CIA. I don't know if you know anything about the CIA, but the CIA is the biggest human trafficking organization on the planet. Yeah. Yes, this is my book.
You write it?
Yeah, I wrote it. Time and Space Unlimited. Back. I got taken out of school for the talented and gifted program and put into Black African Council program. I said 1998. I was in second grade. 8 years old.
So tell me about the time travel with the assassination.
Well, I don't remember it in detail.
Yeah, but just give me the idea. Who was traveling?
Basically, like probably like the CIA people who want. Honestly, if you want to get real, it's Satanists. Like they're Luciferians, they're Satanists, they drink blood and shit. And like that's another thing is like I've literally seen it. Like you know the Mothers of Darkness castle in Belgium. I was there. They pay $10,000 more if it's a clone. They pay $10,000 more for clones. So I've been used in satanic ritual abuse over and over again. Like I remember like being in a dog cage.
I'm sorry, I have to run, but
You're all good, buddy. Have a good one. Thanks for your interest. Look it up and learn more.
I will.
Yeah, Google. Google's not the best, but better than nothing. Time travel is real and it's used to manipulate the timeline for military purposes. Loose lips sink ships has been abused to the point of no return. Cloning and consciousness transferal and time travel is used to enslave hundreds of thousands of people across the planet against their will without their knowledge. It's called the secret space programs. Look into 20 in backs. They are taking people and using them for human slavery. Do not be distracted by the portals, by the cloning, by the technology. This is not science fiction. This is science reality. I'm the crazy guy on the street corner for the first time in my life.
We've gotten some trolls in the chat, but we've gotten some trolls in the chat, but I've removed them.
What are they saying? I was there when you found it.
Just like absurd shit. Like,
That's okay. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I can go. I should go like a megaphone or something.
yeah.
I'm already losing my voice. Honestly, I just like some of the designs. I think we should explore a bit more.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Hello, sir.
Hello, how's it going?
Can I interview this for fun, or can you explain?
Yeah, sure, here, right here.
Yeah.
Or if you explain?
Sure.
So maybe how did you experience the
I was taking through the program called Talented and Gifted program at Johnson Elementary in Appleton, Wisconsin. Appleton, Wisconsin is like a giant playground. All sorts of crazy experiences. Some people have times and people it's kind of like they come to our own real life. Basically, second grade, I tested my IQ and I got taken out of class and it was basically like men in black age who were like interested in and a lot of people have experienced this. They have to pick up on the electronic tones they play. What that is they're trying to activate alters. So the MK Ultra programs, they evolved and been using these time travel stuff, military warfare, time travel warfare, colonization, colonize planets. Now whether or not help them build space stations, basically, it's publicly known. I'll explain that part first. And like I said, whether there was happened after, basically, it's publicly known. It's a publicly known fact that the United States government, the CIA, had a program called MK Ultra, which they took from the Nazis, basically, and did their own thing with it. And they're basically legislating people, wiping their minds, stuff like that, and trying to train them with the perfect weapons, military weapons. They're doing that kind of stuff like Guantanamo Bay, for instance. They're actually doing MK Ultra experiments there. But the program that programs that I ended up working for through the U.S. public school system were Navy, so the U.S. Navy, and then the U.S. Air Force. And one of the things that I did for the U.S. Navy, it's actually called Joint Navy Space Fleet. So it's a bunch of different countries that work with each other, like European countries, basically all the countries that are part of the North American Trade Organization. They have a space fleet called Joint Navy Space Fleet. That guy started a whole I was part of colonizing this world called Centurion 5, and to get back to what happened to me, I got taken out of class, I got experimented on, put on drugs, things like that, because they're trying to activate psychic abilities that I had. And basically, I was in like a hotel, or hospital type room with the screen thing in the middle, and there was a screen with colors on it. And the colors would flash and beep, and the guy told me, I called him a man in the brown suit. The guy was taking me to the military base, experimenting on stuff. I had all these electrodes hooked up to my phone and control notes and all this stuff. And he said, "You gotta tell me the colors on the TV." And I was like, "How am I supposed to do it? How am I supposed to do that?" I can't see it. And he's like, we know what you are, you fucking monster. You're gonna be able to see the colors on the TV. Shut the fuck up. And they just, whoop, they started going, whoop, the color changes. I'm supposed to say something, I don't. They electrocute me. The color changes. I'm supposed to say something, I don't. They electrocute me more intensely. Each time I didn't answer, they electrocuted me more intensely. Until finally, it opened up the flight or flight response. Like I felt like I could die if I did not achieve what they wanted me to do. And I was able to see the screen and accurately guess the colors and say what colors were being put on the screen. And they basically worked their way up from there. They had center cards. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They have like the weird, they basically have like weird shapes on them and stuff like that, coupled with different colors and stuff like that. And they use them to try to test your ESP. So basically, they'd have a guy in another room who'd pull in a card, it's on the card, and they'd ask me a card it was. And then they do 2 at a time. Then they would do up to 3 at a time. It got to the point where a guy could shuffle it back, and every time I would say it, every single card accurately. And that's because they're trying to use me as a time oracle. They use me as a time oracle, so when they wanted to do a timeline change, right? They would see, is this going to be negative? Is this going to fuck things up more? Because there's the people talk about the butterfly effect, where you might do one thing and you succeed at the thing you want to do, but then all this other stuff falls apart that you didn't foresee happening. So what they would do is they would use time oracles, and I was one of these people that they would basically use to peer into different timelines, peer into different possibilities, to make sure that they would have the highest probability that they could have. And this stuff is even used, like the cartels, they use oracles. When they're smuggling drugs and stuff like that, there's this guy named Tony Robbins. He's written books and stuff as well, and he testifies to being used by a drug cartel to basically, he'd be on the plane and they're going to fly into the airport, and if there was going to be a bust or something was up, his job was to tell them. And that's kind of like what my job was in the military so they kept me on the moon, in a room on the moon, in this room, and I wasn't doing anything. There's tons of the kids they used me, they were all strapped to tables with intravenous drugs, like an IV drip of drugs, and they use this like crystal balls. Like, we want to talk to so-and-so, or we want to look into this timeline, this and that. They literally, like, I keep on telling people, don't get distracted by the portals, the cloning, the aliens, all that cool stuff. I know it's extremely interesting, but they're using this esoteric technology to enslave people. Have you ever watched the movie Avatar? That's what we're doing. It's you know, not to get political, but like Gaza, like the occupation of Gaza, what they're doing right now, they do that on other planets. This is our space now, it belongs to us, fuck you, get out of the way. And they do that to the native populations, and I've been a part of it.
So you did encounter that?
Yes, I've encountered all sorts of non-human life, like seriously, like you wouldn't believe the things I've seen. I've seen giant centipedes, giant spiders, giant ant people. Mars has life on it. You're being lied to. Like it's like facts. Like people have. There's now programs like that show when pictures are like AI programs and show something from Photoshop. Try that out with NASA's photos of Mars. They're literally like taking out entire sections, replacing them with sections over here. They put all the photos, until recently, they recently stopped, but they used to always put them through a red filter to make it look alien and like otherworldly. The sky's blue there. The air's a little thinner, but you can breathe it. Like, Mars has life. You're being lied to. It's our sister planet.
Are you able to escape this?
I'm still being used in these programs. They memory wipe you. I don't know about everything that I've participated in, but I've been used for everything from sexual slavery, like literally just as a sex slave, to colonizing other planets through time travel. And like I said, I remember basically getting rid of local populations or dwindling their population until it's very small and basically taking over their entire planet. Like there's a planet that used to be called Aurelia. We occupied it. It was called Centurion 5. And that was a huge part. Like that was, this is the scale. And for me, like people are like, oh, they kidnapped me for a lifetime. No, for Centurion 5, get this. This is literally what they did to me. I got sent there in a ship, which was in a time bubble beyond time space, where they could see what's going on. And there's a version of me that knew what I was doing, knew that I was colonizing this planet, and that they were sending basically wiped clones of me. Like I knew what I was doing. I knew what I signed up for. And so there was a version of me named Marshall, and another thing that's important to explain, dissociative identity disorder is this disorder caused by trauma. No, dissociative identity disorder is when you have multiple personalities. Like, I could switch and be like, I'm Jacob, and I talk different, I act different. The military literally programs people with DID to make them assets so that they can switch and do stuff for them and then switch back without even realizing it. So there are people like doing like spy missions for our government without even knowing that they're doing it. It's called monarch program. Like, you know, like how a monarch butterfly knows exactly what to do when it comes out of the cocoon. It doesn't need directions from its mother to spoon fed anything it already knows. That's why they call it monarch program. And so a lot of the missions that I did, like on Centurion, they were monarch program missions where I didn't even know I was on a time travel mission. I thought I was just living a normal life, and I just sort of had programming to do certain things, and that was it, and I lived my life. And I remember, like, I was a miner on Centurion 5, just a normal guy, and I remember that I did construction work, and I remember telling them, I was having bleed-through memories of Earth, like I had bleed-through memories of his life. And I remember telling the construction guys at work, like, they tell everyone Earth got blown up, so they don't want to leave. On almost all the breakaway plants, that's what they tell people. And I was like, I'm telling you, it's still there. I remember after the war, because they say it happened in World War II.
Ignorant to the fact that
it's just like here where only top tier military people know about the stuff. And a big part of it is because of all the time travel stuff. The more webs there are, meaning if let's say Centurion is an Earth or trading, doing trade, sending people going on vacation from Earth to Centurion, stuff like that, then their time streams are okay. And that makes doing time travel stuff even harder to predict. So that's part of the reason why. Part of the reason why we're all being lied to and we're not being let into this big, beautiful galactic family and being allowed to evolve is basically so giant, greedy corporations can plunder planets and make tons of money like they do to the Earth. And they don't want to be held responsible.
Hey, I want to shake your hand, man. You're here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I don't feel like
I just have a quick
I've
question.
done really terrible things for the military. I hope people understand that. I'm not proud of anything.
No, I mean, sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Just a quick question. I could be being lied to right now, but I heard a planet called the Clit, C-L-I-T. I was wondering if it was real at all.
I've heard rumors, but I think it's
Right. All right. Thank you for your time.
what's that?
That's like crazy, not respectfully. None of this sounds plausible. But even if it did happen, why would you be here right now telling people? Why would you be here?
Because I am being enslaved. Because I could wake up tonight. I could go to sleep. I could wake up on a starship or a spaceship or something like that and be assigned another mission, and I'm just there for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, however long they want me. I'm a slave. I am enslaved by these programs, and I don't want to be enslaved anymore. And I feel like the only real way to get out of it is to have it publicly known. Like, the reason why they don't want people to know about the stuff they're doing is because, you know, people often hold their government accountable. I mean, we ended, for instance, the Vietnam War. Public outcry, civil disobedience, stuff like that. It ended the Vietnam War. It made the United States lose the Vietnam War. It's kind of like the same thing with a lot of this time travel, military stuff. People knew about it, but that's not ethically right. Why are you cloning people and doing war? What? They would be like, nah. But the government uses, you ever hear loose lips sink ships? Like, it makes sense, like, don't give out military secrets because the enemy could find them and they could use them against you. These esoteric technologies are used for military purposes, so therefore they fall under classified information. And that's why the government's lying to you about it, is because they believe, I mean, a lot of these guys in the military, they're not bad people. They literally think they're keeping you safe, they think they're doing the right thing. So, like, but like, that's reality what's happening.
How could I know if that was happening? Like, you've had all these experiences, I just have to take your word for it.
I would say don't just take my word for it. I mean, like, you know, have an open mind, because, like, you know, we don't know everything, right? But our frame of reference as human beings has changed a lot in really good ways, really dramatically. Like, you know, like the invention of electricity or something like that, or the invention of an airplane, or being able to go onto the moon. Like, that changed our perception of things. If we were ever to accept that all these technologies exist and time travel and stuff like that, it would change our perception. Like, for instance, these technologies, like cloning, stuff like that, we can live indefinitely, pretty much. It seems cool in theory, right? Oh, I can just live forever, awesome. You know how many problems that would solve if some guy just got on a microphone and was like, hey everybody, 1995 a month ago, live forever. Like, that would, why have babies anymore? Like, you gotta understand, like, these technologies, they are a paradigm shift to where if they just were like, all right, sorry for lying to you guys, here's all the stuff, it would cause chaos. It would cause chaos. So it's like, there's an extent of it where I understand why the military isn't giving us the full truth, but the reality is, it's gonna come out, it needs to come out, and there's too many things like the excuse of, well, like information safety, like loose lips, like sink ships, it's been pushed too far. I mean, I was taken out of school as a child, electrocuted, tortured. Like, the things they did to me are illegal. That's why they don't want people to know about it. And like I said, I don't expect you to believe me, but like a good example is like for something where you look into it, like, what the fuck? Maybe this guy is onto something. There's this dude, Gary McKinnon. He's probably the best evidence of any of like hardcore proof of it happening. He was a hacker, and he hacked NASA, and he found the itineraries for miles-long starships with personnel on them and stuff under a secret space program called Solar Warden. And The Guardian even did an article about it. Like, it got in the newspaper. And there was like court proceedings with the U.S. government, but they basically stopped them. Sorry, I'm screwed. They basically stopped them because they didn't want to draw attention to this thing. So they're just like, all right, let's make it go away. And as far as I know, Gary McKinnon is kind of in hiding. He's like sketched out, but he's never been arrested. So.
Want my lollipop?
I'm okay, thank you. Good luck with that, though. Well, it's interesting talking to you. Take care.
Yeah.
Definitely interesting talking to you.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think I should do now?
I honestly would like to explore a little more, like down that way, or.
All right. What are people saying in the comments?
People are saying like it's good to see you out here, basically doing this in public.
Yeah, you can. I'm off it, but yes. I have a YouTube channel called Disclosure Now, which you should check out too.
It's just $20 exactly.
Perfect. Here's that. Yeah, just look me up and find me online. I got done tons of interviews. And
Do you know who Lead Project is?
I've heard of them.
You should try to get interviews with him. He's always into all this kind of stuff.
Okay, I will. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I hope you learned something
I
from
was
it.
in the mental hospital before. They were doing experiments on me, and then they had like 3D body printing machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then people can jump in and out of the bodies like really out of
Yeah, that's real. That's what I've been disclosing. Yeah, so here's another person that's experienced the technology that I'm talking about. Another person. I'm not the only person who's experienced this stuff. I'm sorry. Because I figured you knew the shit's taking it.
Yeah.
I should have maybe let you know about it. I will. I'll check out Lead Project. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Wow, I'm selling. I sold what, 3 books?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
David Aikens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like his stuff.
Yeah, he's interesting. That's wild. That still always blows my mind when I meet other people. Just like, yeah, I've seen it too. It never ceases to amaze me that there are people that have seen this stuff and experienced it. And that's why I'm out here, is because it's lots of people. I'm not the only person that's experienced this stuff. This technology is being abused. It's not right. But anyway, I think we're gonna wrap up this live for now. If you guys want to find me again, Markeem Raw or Psych Blooms on TikTok. I'm gonna do this again somewhere else, similar thing probably, and I'll be streaming it on TikTok that time. So take a look out for that, and see you later. And thanks for tuning in.